we should be live.
All right, it's Wednesday, February 19th, 2025. My name is John. How you doing, Jack?
I'm good. I'm good, man. How are you?
Good, man. I'm just getting over being sick, but we're going to talk about self-custody and custodial custody,
Non
not
custody.
custody. We're talking about custody today with crypto. Um, now, I do know about self-custody and custodial gold, right? I have some self-custody physical gold that I just like have in my house. So don't come rob me. There's enough. I want my name or my face on here. And also, it's a very small amount of gold because I'm poor. I'm just an Uber driver. I don't have like big bricks of gold or anything. I don't even know if I have a full ounce of gold. I don't have much gold, but I also have some gold ETF, which I have on my Robinhood app. IAUM, which I think is might be BlackRock. I don't remember who it is, but I have it because it's got a low expense ratio, low fees. I don't remember what the fees are, but um, and what's nice about that is I can buy and sell it without paying a big fee because I pay a big fee when I buy gold in person at the gold store. They charge me like 5 or 10% more than the spot price, and
Why?
I because I want the physical gold self custody because I'm just a douche like that. I guess I
No,
don't know
why is there a premium?
because they gotta pay their bills, bro. They gotta keep the lights on.
I suppose that. Yeah, I should have thought of that.
Yeah, they gotta make their cut. I'm not, and I've never sold any to them. I don't know if they give you the full price or not. Like if you have an ounce of gold, I don't know if they give you the full 2,900 or they try to lowball you or what.
Right. Well, you would imagine that they do.
If I'm
If
trying to buy an ounce of gold, they're going to charge over 3,000.
mhm.
Um, but it's my gold. It's 100% for sure. If I buy the physical gold, the reason I'm willing to pay that premium sometimes is because then that's my gold, right? Because they're talking about, well, what if all the gold in Fort Knox isn't there? Well, the a lot of parts of the gold market are going to fall apart first of all, right? Because people like I'm buying the gold ETF. I'm trusting BlackRock that there's gold in a vault somewhere with my name on it because I bought a share of the gold ETF, right? And I don't know if that's legit or not. I'm just trusting BlackRock because they're a trusted asset manager, and it's convenient, right? I'm only paying a
I think we're
0.03%.
getting ahead of ourselves here. Let's go back to what those two things, those terms actually mean. I think we
Well,
should start there.
yeah, self custody. I got the gold in my hand.
So, yeah, I mean, I've got a definition listed here. Self custody is when a person controls and manages their digital assets without relying on a third party. It gives users full control over their funds and private keys. The benefits of self custody include full control, you have complete autonomy over the funds, enhanced privacy, users have less exposure to external entities, and independence. Users aren't affected by issues with third party providers. The risks of self custody include private keys must be protected from theft, damage, and loss. Users should create instructions and training for loved ones on how to recover their assets. And then, there's it goes on to kind of talk about how self custody works and how to set up a private wallet. Um, but yeah, I guess, we've talked about in the past what a wallet is, I think, haven't we?
Maybe.
But, well, we can certainly get into that too. But,
Yeah,
the
definitely. We're going to get into that.
the main thing I take away from this is that you have the ability to make sure that you will always maintain, well, I won't say always, you have the potential to always maintain control over your money and nobody else can take it from you. if if you have it custodied with a trusted custodian, there's a chance that you don't get that back. Not yours, it's not your keys, it's not your crypto.
Right. And I think even in England right now, I think there's a run on the bank for physical gold. I think there's like a 9-week waiting list. People are trying to get their physical gold out of the bank that they have custodied with the vault, and people aren't sure if all the gold's even in there in the Bank of England or whatever bank it is. I don't know. Like you just, like if you're giving your crypto or your gold to somebody else to store for you, and then they might loan it out. They might, use the same gold or crypto and say that more than one person owns the same shit in the vault. The same ounce of gold in the vault might have 5 different owners or whatever. Same Bitcoin. Like yeah, you want them to be trusted, but not everything's foolproof, and sometimes companies go out of business, they go bankrupt, and the assets get liquidated. Like, and there's all kinds of situations of that. But I want to get into self custody first, because there's way too many examples of not self custody, and we'll get into it. But let's get into self custody first.
Sure.
So you mentioned private keys and you mentioned wallets. So I want to mention one thing about wallets is there's two main different kinds of wallets. Well, there's lots of different. When you're getting a wallet, you want it to be open source instead of closed source, and we have a whole episode on that. But you do want it to be open source, and I didn't know about that at first, but I've come to realize that open source is much safer and much more secure than closed source. And again, because if you have closed source, again, then you're trusting the one person. And the whole point of self-custodying your crypto, or one of the main points of it, is for it to be secure, that nobody else can get to it. And the only way no one can get to your crypto is if your wallet is open source. If your wallet is closed source, whoever made the wallet, the company can take your crypto. And so that defeats the whole purpose. So you got to make sure it's open source. And the other thing about wallets, there is such thing as a custodial wallet. I've never used one, but you definitely want a non-custodial wallet, which means self-custody, which is very confusing in language. But most wallets are that way. But the big thing is you want to check is whether it's open source or closed source. And so a good example of, and then there's hardware wallets and software wallets. Software wallets are also considered hot wallets, and you're usually also connected to the internet. And then hardware wallets are usually considered cold storage wallets and are often not connected to the internet. And we'll get into that later. It's also important, but and Trezor, I think, is a good example of a cold storage hardware wallet, which is open source. But we're going to do a little tutorial on how to do a trust wallet, which is an open source software hot wallet from Binance. Now, this is different from having your coins on the Binance exchange, and we'll go over exchanges and all that later. But this is an example of an open source wallet, so it is safe. And Jack, why don't you go and take it? Why don't you Google Trust Wallet? Trust Wallet. Yeah, just Google it. See what happens. So that's sponsored. Let's not click on anything sponsored. Jack Hart. The mistake number one. If you click on something sponsored, a scammer, and this has been done in crypto, where scammers will pay Google for an advertisement, and it'll look legit, right? Like it'll look like a Coinbase, whatever. It'll look like a Binance or Coinbase or Trust Wallet or whatever, and it'll be a sponsored link, and it'll look, even you click on it, it still looks legit, right? But what it ends up being is malware, right? So you definitely do not want to click on any advertisements, even if it is from the company that you were looking for. You want to scroll down to where it doesn't say sponsored. You want to do a regular link. So we got trustwallet.com. That looks good. Try that one.
Yeah, we'll think that one might be safe. It says a
Yeah,
Chrome
and you
browser extension.
check
So
that too. Like you could open up another page real quick just to make sure. This is going to be good to open up a new page. Leave that page there. We'll go back to it in a second. But type in like, what is the website for Trust Wallet? Just to get like a second opinion of what it is, right? Just so you make sure we're not on some scam website.
trustwallet.com.
Yeah, that's from the Google AI, right? So that's a different source. The Google AI is telling us that this is the correct website. So we're on the right website. So now we can go ahead and download it. Yeah, there's download button there, download extension, whatever. So iOS is your iPhone, Android is your like Google phone, Chrome. Sorry, are you using Chrome or Chrome browser?
I am.
Oh, perfect.
And I will add it to Chrome.
Yep. So it's going to be like a little thing in the corner, the extension.
Mm-hmm.
I hate these things because like it just feels like every website you go to has access to your wallets.
Yeah.
But this is just an example, and this is why this is a hot wallet.
Okay, welcome to the Trust Wallet extension.
Yep.
Multi-chain wallet trusted by millions. Create a new wallet, import or recover a wallet,
Right.
and then
So
ledger.
yep. So if you had your private keys written down somewhere, if you already had made a wallet, a trust wallet, and then you lost your phone, dropped it in the ocean, you would do import or recover wallet, and you'd put in your private key. But we're making a whole brand new wallet, so we're gonna do create a new wallet. So it
Okay.
wants you to make a password. So I guess
Sweet.
this would be so that like your wife can't get into it,
Mm-hmm.
or your kid can't get into it with your computer.
Mm-hmm.
There's some,
So,
if I come over to hang out at your house, I can't log into your computer and drain your trust wallet from you.
mm-hmm. So we'll just make up a quick
Yeah, just make
password.
a password. And I encourage Jack, you or
Uh-oh.
any of your viewers to not send funds to this wallet because everyone's going to see the private key on this wallet probably. So this is going to be a burner wallet, and not really a burner wallet because really anyone who watches this will have access to the wallet. It's kind of funny. I don't know if I don't know if I've ever seen anyone put a private key from a real wallet on the internet before. But we're definitely not going to put any real assets in this wallet because it's going to have. We're going to
Let's
show
see
the
here.
private key. It's just so that we can show you guys what it looks like.
What?
Do you remember?
I
Just put in.
I don't remember what it is now. Hold on.
Okay, just put in something easy that you can remember. Like don't put in a password that's the same as anything else.
No, I'm not. I'm creating a unique one.
Yeah, just create a really stupid one. And that's another tip for people at home. Like if you're going to put a lot of money in this trust wallet, put in a different password than you use for your email or something. Use a different password. Use a password that well, and then there's this thing like how complicated do you make the password? Do you want to either be able to memorize it or do you want to be able to write it down? It might be best to put in a password that you can memorize, right? Because that way if you drop your phone in the ocean and your house burns down on the same day, you can still get it back. Well, I don't know if you can get it back if both those things happen.
Yeah.
You might be able to get back if you know your password. You probably need your phone at least.
Yeah.
You
Well,
probably need your.
now I don't know if anybody what everybody's feelings are about sharing usage patterns, but I'm
Oh
not
no,
I'm not interested in that at
no,
all.
you're not
So
sharing shit. This is your fucking crypto wallet.
your wallet
Yeah.
is ready to use.
Oh, and that brings up another point. Never put your private keys on Google Cloud. A lot of wallets ask, like, do you want to back this up to Google Cloud? Hell no, dude. That's how. In fact, the hackers that hacked Mount Gox, that's
This is
how
speculation.
caught.
Speculation alert.
What? No, I'm telling you, this is how they got caught. The
I don't
hackers that
believe that they're the ones that actually took down Mt. Gox. That's what
the,
I'm saying.
the woman just makes music videos, which I suggest you go watch.
Oh, I've
What's
seen them. Razzle Khan. Yeah.
Razzle Khan? Yeah, yeah. So Razzle Khan makes the music videos, but her husband did it, dude. He They put their fucking private keys on the Google Cloud. So all the cops had to do was the cops knew who they were. They just didn't know how to fucking catch them. But then the cops figured out that they put their private keys on the Google Cloud. So that the cops called up Google and they're like, "Hey, we need RazzleCon. We need access to RazzleCon's Google Cloud." And Google was like, "Who are you?" And they're like, "We're the fucking New York City police or whoever the fuck it was." And I'm swearing a lot, sorry, but the FBI or police or whoever it was, and Google gave the police the Google Cloud access, and so then the cops had the private keys, so the cops made a wallet with the private keys, and sent the Bitcoin to their and made a second wallet that was the police wallet, and they sent all the Bitcoin to themselves from Razzle Khan's wallet. Like the hackers got hacked. And if you don't want that to happen to you, don't put your private keys on Google Cloud.
So I've got the wallet open on my end, but it's not showing it
It's
for
not
whatever
showing what.
reason. It's not showing the wallet on the stream.
I see you scrolling through Bitcoin, Ethereum,
Okay.
BNB.
Well, let
So
me
your
check.
wallet is ready. No, that's good. That's good. So what are you doing?
I'm going to see if it
No,
shows
no, no,
up on the
go back
stream.
the way
It's
you had
not
it.
showing
No.
up on the stream.
Oh, you can't see it.
The stream can't see it. You can see it, but
Oh,
I can't. I can see it too, but the
wait,
stream nobody
wait,
can see it.
see it. Oh, okay.
Like they can see this page, but
Right, right.
when I use the Trust wallet and I open it up, it doesn't
Yeah.
pop up. It doesn't populate.
I don't know how to fix that.
Hmm. Let me see if I can pop it out.
Yeah, maybe make its own window or something. But where it says back up your seed phrase, but we gotta make sure they can see it. Otherwise,
Let's try opening the wallet. There. Now I
oh,
can
okay,
see it. Boom.
they can see it. Perfect.
Yeah.
So that at the top it says back up your secret seed phrase. You should, whenever you make a new wallet, this is the first thing you should do. In fact, before you even start making the wallet, you need to know that this is what you need to do. So get your notebook out and write it down with a pen and paper. And I know, and all the lazy people are gonna be like, why can't I just type it in a notepad on my Microsoft Windows or my notepad on my phone or text it to my girlfriend? Like, no, dude, do you want your crypto to be safe or not? If you want your crypto to be safe, you write it down with a pen and paper, period. Now you can make it more safe. You can get like a stainless steel plate that you punch the numbers in, manually like that, or some crazy thing, in case there's a
Yeah.
house fire.
Engrave them.
But yeah, there's various, like, it doesn't have to be a pen and paper, but it definitely cannot be something on a computer that's online, right? That's just dumb. It can't be in the Google, it can't be in the cloud, it can't be on your computer that's online. Like, you can't, like, that's how you get hacked. That's one of, there's so many attack vectors. And if you do it right, there's zero attack vectors, but you have to do it
And
right.
you may be thinking to yourself, yes, Crypto John, I know, but I won't have enough money to where it's worth all this risk of security or this effort of security. And that may be true now, young Padawan, but you will soon be a crypto Jedi yourself. And at that point in time, you will really wish that you had put the correct foundation for your OPSEC in. So pay attention now.
Yeah, tell that to the guy who bought like 80,000 Bitcoin back when it was like 10 cents per Bitcoin. And then his girlfriend threw away his laptop. And now he's trying to buy the whole landfill for $100 million because his Bitcoin is worth $80 million or $800 million or something ridiculous. Because
Wild.
they won't let him dig in the landfill. He wants to dig in the landfill to find his old laptop. They won't let him do it. So now he's just trying to buy the entire landfill.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got the back up your secret phrase here.
Yeah.
You want me to
So,
show the keys or the phrase?
yeah. So this is the actual private keys to this
Oh,
actual wallet. So
now
you
I
put
gotta
in
put the password again.
just made before. So hopefully you wrote down your password. If you didn't do that, you got to start over and actually write down your password. That's a big thing. Whenever you're making a crypto wallet, you have to have a pen and paper with you. You just have to.
So,
And you don't put, so there's, let me see. It's kind of small. I can't see it.
yep, it is.
Oh yeah, all the words. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. Like, this is your private keys. This is your crypto right here. Same thing with that password before, but this is the real deal right here. This is your private keys. If you don't have this, you don't have your crypto. Period. If someone else has this, then that someone else has your crypto. That's why you cannot put this passphrase. You can't put it in an email. You cannot put it on the cloud. You can't put it in a text message. You can't put it on your hard drive. You cannot put it in a notepad. You have to have it on pen and paper somewhere safe, or like a steel plate,
You need
or
it IRL.
yeah, like you need to, this needs to be all the way safe, and preferably more than one copy in more than one location. If you want to get ironic about it, you can go put it in a safety deposit box at the bank. which is probably a good place for it.
That's what I'm actually thinking about doing that.
I mean, I don't know what the situations are and how you would lose access to a safety deposit box, but people, and you can come up with your own. A safe is probably a good place for it.
Yeah, I'm not going to keep this wallet, by the way, so I'm not going to bother writing this key
Right?
down.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
just going to proceed.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh shit, I had to.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll write it down and do it. Back. Go back. Back. So now you have to write it down. This is a good
No,
practice for you, Jack.
I'm not going to write it down because
Well, copy and paste it then.
I am going to copy and paste it. But I
And
can't actually copy and
it,
paste it. I have
don't
to
do this. Just write it down,
just
Jack.
just
Come
let me
on. I
do my thing.
want to copy,
I
but
don't
we got to tell
listen.
our viewers.
It's not going to happen.
We
Okay.
got to tell our viewers you can't
Okay.
copy and paste
You're right.
either.
Oh look, I just finished writing it down. What do you know?
But you don't even want to copy and paste it because it's in your computer's memory. Like if someone's like got malware on your computer, they could have access to it. Like just pen and paper, write it down. Like that absolutely has to be what you do.
Okay. There. It's been written down.
Okay.
And uh, now you have to match up the word with
You got it. You got it, Jack. I believe in you.
where's the word? There. There. And there. And there. And yay.
Okay, so now we got a wallet, right?
Yes.
So, but let's say we want to send some Solana to it. We're not going to do it, but let's just pretend. So all you see on there is BNB because it's created by Binance. So of course that's first coin. Next one's Bitcoin, of course, Ethereum, Pol, which is I think is Matic's new token, and then TWT, which is the Trust Wallet token, which is a total shitcoin. But let's say we want some Solana. So yeah, click Manage Crypto. I think would be a way to do it. And so they got some well-known ones like Cardano's really well known. Um, Algo, Aptos, Atom, Avex. So you could probably,
BNB.
if it's a well-known crypto, you're probably fine just picking it from this list. Like just scroll down to S, probably
Just
Solana.
kind of looking through.
Yeah, and I think they.
Filecoin.
Oh, it does say all networks. So this might be all the coins that are compatible.
FTM
This is
Glimmer. Wow.
yeah, this is probably all the coins that are compatible. Oh, actually, go back up to Ethereum real quick.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So this is a good example. So it's one thing to have the right coin, right? There's Ethereum Classic, which is not Ethereum, right? That's ETC. That's an old fork of Ethereum, which is garbage. But then you have Ethereum, but then there's Ethereum on different networks, right? There's Ethereum on the base network. There's Ethereum on what is that next one? Linnea. That's another L2. There's Optimism. It's another L2. There's the Polygon ZK EVM, which is different from regular Polygon, right? And then there's ZK Sync. There's Scroll, Arbitrum. Keep scrolling down. Aurora. These are all different L2s. ETH on Blast. Do they have ETH on ETH? Do they have regular ETH? I didn't even see regular ETH. Go back up. See if there's regular ETH.
I don't see it.
There ETH. The regular ETH is already checked.
Oh,
It's probably
yeah.
top.
That's right.
They already have.
Yeah.
So that ETH you see is ETH on ETH, right? See how it says ETH and then it says Ethereum. It's on the Ethereum blockchain. That matters, right? Because if you take ETH on base and try to send it to ETH on Optimism, it's not
ETH and then base.
right. So you got to make sure you're on the right network. Okay, so that matters. But let's scroll down to Solana.
Why does that matter so much? Do you have
Uh,
maybe a story of something that happened that
yeah.
might?
So I got a buddy. This happened like in 2020 or 2021, and my buddy had like 10,000 Matic tokens, and at the time he bought them, they were like $0.003. Like it was like 0.3 cents per token. It wasn't much when he bought it. It was like $300 when he bought it, right? Then here's another example of you might start with a small amount of crypto and it might become worth a lot. But he bought $300 worth of Matic tokens and he sent them from the exchange to his wallet and everything was fine. And he had it in his wallet. But then Matic came to be worth $1. So now he had like $10,000 of Matic. In fact, he had more than that. I think it was 30,000 Matic tokens.
Yeah, he had
It was
30K plus.
30,000 Matic tokens, which I think he originally bought for a tenth of a penny per token. So he originally paid, whatever that math works out to $100. He didn't pay much. He paid like not much money for 30,000 Matic tokens, sent them to his wallet, forgot about it for a while, and then Matic got to be $1 in the middle of the bull run, and he's like, "Oh, I have $30,000. Let me send that to the exchange and cash it out so I can be rich." Well, he sent it uh, to the Binance.us exchange, which at the time only supported Matic tokens on a certain. It might have only supported on the BNB chain. I don't remember the details of it. I kind of butchering the story a little bit, but he sent it to the wrong blockchain. He had the right token, but the wrong blockchain, and he sent it to the exchange, but on the wrong blockchain. So he couldn't access it anymore. It was gone. It was gone from his wallet, and he couldn't access it on his Binance.us account because he sent it to the wrong blockchain. Now he got really and and it kept going up in value. Meanwhile, Matic was still going up, and he didn't have it anymore. And he contacted the Binance.us support. And he's like, "Hey, I sent my Matic tokens to this address, but I can't get it." Uh, And the craziest thing of all, and never do this, by the way. I don't know how my buddy did not get scammed. This
Well, because
sounds like a total.
he's a code. I mean, he writes code. He
Yeah, my
you
buddy
can
is
probably
is
talk
a
to him on a
computer
level we
programmer.
can't.
Yes, and so he's talking to my buddy, the computer programmer, who my buddy is a computer programmer who lost his Matic tokens, is talking to support at Binance.us exchange, and the technical support guy says, "Send me $100 worth of Bitcoin to this wallet, and I'll get it for you."
No way.
Which sounds like the ultimate scam.
Right.
And this was like $30,000 of Matic. In fact, it might have been worth $60,000. But he sent it when he lost it, it was worth 30,000. I think by the time he reached like tech support, it was like 60,000. Now this is like the beginning of the bull run, or like right in the middle of the bull run of 2021, when like all the exchanges are like their customer support is like backed up. Like it took you like a couple weeks to even create an account because they were so busy, right? And they were lucky for my buddy. They were adding the Polygon blockchain. They were adding the blockchain to their exchange, so they were going to have access to it, just not right then. But the tech support guy was like, "Send me fucking 0.001 Bitcoin, whatever it was, $100 worth of Bitcoin at the time." He's like, "Send me this Bitcoin to this wallet." He gave my buddy a wallet, probably his own private Bitcoin wallet. He's like, "Send me this Bitcoin, and I'll retrieve it for you." My buddy sent him the Bitcoin, and the dude sent him back his Matic tokens.
Wow.
And I think it might have taken a couple weeks too. Like he sent him the Bitcoin, and then he's like, "All right, I'll take care of it." But he didn't take care of it right away. He took care of it like 2 weeks later when they finally added support for the Polygon blockchain.
Just wild.
Totally, dude. He was sweating balls.
Yeah.
Like it was like $64,000. He had no idea if he was ever going to see it again. Like, dude, he was so stressed out.
I remember that.
Yeah, it was crazy. So double check the blockchain. Double check the blockchain and double check the transaction. Do a test transaction. Don't send $64,000 at once. Send $6 and make sure it shows up where it's supposed to show up. If it does, then send the rest. Or even send it in chunks. Send maybe $10,000 chunks or something. Right? Don't just send it all at once. Like whatever's a lot of money to you, send 1/10 of it.
Yeah.
And then
Send considerably less. Like you
yeah,
could. Like there are sometimes minimum transaction sizes, but
sure.
I
Yeah,
will
maybe
send those minimums if possible on your
yeah,
first one.
$1, $10,
Hmm.
$50, whatever. Okay, so we got that all the way. So you got Solana. Okay, so you got Solana selected. Now, so
Mm-hmm.
go back to the other screen.
What other screen?
I don't know. The non-token selection screen.
This
Maybe
one?
that back
Well,
arrow.
this is the Solana. Actually, I went into Solana here.
Well, that's fine. So if you're on the Solana screen here, so let's say you got your new wallet, and you want to put some Solana tokens on it. So what you click on, you'd click on receive,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because you want to receive Solana tokens. So you have a QR code. But what you want right there, though, so that below the QR code, I've never really used QR codes. It's kind of a shortcut, but we're not going to do that in this tutorial. Instead, we're going to copy and paste. Now, this is something you can copy and paste. It's totally okay. This is your public key. Now, when we wrote down the seed phrase, that was your private key. And that seed phrase, you don't want to copy and paste it. You don't want it on the internet. You don't. But this is your public key. The public key, you could write your public key on the door in a public bathroom. That's fine. I mean, everybody will be able to see your wallet,
Yeah,
but
and they'll be able to send you money.
yes, and they'll be able to send you money, but they won't be able to take money from you. So it is okay to copy and paste this. It's okay. So you can go ahead and copy that. So that's your public key, right? So you would copy that, and then you would go to your exchange wherever you bought your Solana tokens, and you would click either send or withdraw. And when you click send or withdraw, it's going to say, okay, what's the recipient address? And that's what you put in your public key, because your public key is your receive address. Your private key is your send address. You don't want anyone that has your private key can send crypto from that wallet to their own wallet, right? So you want to keep your private key private. Your public key is okay to have public. So you can share your public key with the exchange, and then when you're sending or drawing crypto to your wallet, and that's how you do it. So you and then um I don't know, Jack, if you have an exchange account on that computer that you want to send, or another
No,
wallet, or
I don't have anything on here. I wanna.
oh, okay, well we can do it right on here. Just go ahead and close this, and then go back to, or let's scroll up. Yeah, just close that. Now hit send, right? Let's say no, on the left. Yeah, hit send. There, right there. Recipient address. Now you'd put in your public key right there. Bam. And then right, if you already
That's if we wanted to. Yeah,
right, that's
this is
you
who
want
we want to send it to. If we wanted to send it
right.
to
You
ourselves.
would send it to your, if you had Solana, you would send it to yourself that way then, right? Which you can do. That is something you do. You can send crypto to yourself from
Yep.
the same wallet.
Oh, cool. I didn't actually
Yeah,
realize that you could do that, but
sure you can
you
do that.
just want to pay some transaction fees.
Yeah, if you want to just pay some yeah. If you want to make the chain look good, get some extra transactions on it.
Yeah, you can put it. Looks like you can put a memo in here, just like on a check.
Yeah.
Um,
Sometimes exchanges want you to put in a memo. That's usually optional, right? But so that's how you send it. Yeah, you'd
mhm.
click that and then send it,
And that would
and then
look like it would. You would get this confirmation
yeah,
from this address to this address,
yeah.
right? We didn't.
Are you sure? Are you sure you want to send your money because you're not getting it back?
Mhm, mhm. Yeah.
So that's basically it, right? Like so that 12-word seed phrase, that was your private key, and then your public key is your receive address, and that's basically it. Honestly, like people are usually really scared of self custody, but that's all it is.
Yeah. By the way, here's a list of the networks that you're on right now, right? Like so, you saw that we selected Solana
Yeah,
and we added that to our list of cryptos that our wallet is currently tracking up front. But if
yeah.
we wanted to actually use that Solana that so before we could have sent any of that to ourselves, we'd have to switch to the Solana network
Okay,
in order to not do the same thing.
right. It's already selected. Yeah,
But it
check out.
says, it's weird, it says Ethereum up here.
Yeah, click on Ethereum at the bottom. Like,
Manage network? What do you mean?
no, just go into Ethereum like we're gonna send Ethereum. Yeah, now hit send. So then you'd have the recipient address. It should have just type in, just paste the Solana address in there if you still have it in your copy and paste.
Invalid address.
Okay, so that's good that it can sense that, right? because that's a Solana address. So it's not a valid Ethereum address. What I was curious about is if it had like a spot to, if you put in an Ethereum address, if it has a spot to put what network you're sending it on. But I suppose you're sending it from the Ethereum network, so it only will go to the Ethereum network unless you're using a bridge or something, which is beyond the scope of this video. I don't want to get into bridges or anything.
We'll save that for another time.
But this would be how you would send and receive crypto from an exchange. And when you're doing it, you just got to make sure when you're both when you're sending and you're receiving, you make sure you have the right coin on the right network. That's
that's a important lesson.
That's a must. Or otherwise you end up like my buddy who had $64,000 that he wasn't getting back unless he bribed a tech support guy $100. And the only reason he was able to do that is because he was sending it to an exchange. If he had been sending that to another wallet and had sent it to like the wrong wallet, he was never getting that back. There's no tech support to call then. So which is a display of the downside of self-custody. The downside is you can screw up, and usually your screw ups are a permanent loss. Yep. So
that's a fact.
Don't screw it up.
Yeah, if you're going to do it, make sure that you know what you're doing and are confident before beginning.
Yeah, which was the whole point of this video, is to kind of show you that how to do it, and just start out with small amounts. So, dude, the first few crypto transfers I made, I was so nervous.
Oh, dude, me too.
Like I was shaking. Like I was so nervous.
I got sick to my stomach once because I sent I finally like got up the courage to send like $500 worth of Bitcoin.
Yeah.
You know, it was like from my from where I bought it on the exchange to my own wallet.
Yeah.
And it took like the first one I said a test transaction for a few bucks, and it took like a couple minutes.
For the test transaction?
Yeah, for that first couple of
Which
bucks.
is like the fastest Bitcoin transfer ever made.
Right. And so, I mean, it took a couple of minutes. Like, I don't know how long it was. It
wasn't
very long.
10 minutes.
Yeah, it wasn't that long. And then I sent I think I sent like a couple of transactions for like, $20 and $50 or something, just so I could, just because I wanted to be sure.
Right.
And they were all kind of going around the same, 5-10 minutes seemed pretty accurate. And then I send like a $500 transaction. It took like 4 hours. I was panicking. I was like, it's gone. And then you're going back every so often to check, like maybe it's there now. No, it's still gone.
When the chain is busy on either Bitcoin or Ethereum, it's brutal. It's so brutal, especially from an exchange, because like wallet to wallet is usually faster than exchange to wallet or wallet to exchange. Like the exchange slows everything down because they have to verify it because they don't want to get ripped off. So they want to make sure that it's actually you that are sending your own crypto. Like, so they have extra security in place. And also if it's busy, like if you're in the middle of a bull market and the exchange is busy and the chain is busy, Bitcoin and Ethereum can be a nightmare. They're slow, they're expensive. Like it's brutal. It's really brutal. Even Solana, when Solana's congested, you might be trying to do stuff and transactions can fail, and Solana's still way better than Bitcoin and Ethereum as far as that goes because it's so much faster, so much faster and cheaper. But
again, yeah, I get a bit beyond the scope of this video.
Oh, but there's so many times, dude, where I sent like $1,000 of Bitcoin and it took forever to show up, and I'm just sweating the whole time. Ethereum too.
Yeah.
So many, like, definitely do test transactions, and you'll eventually get more comfortable with it. Like now, dude, like I'll blast out, $1,000 and not even blink. Like I don't, like sometimes I don't even do a test transaction. I just fucking blast it out just because I'm. Now that's going to get me in trouble. If I'm sending over $1,000, I do a test transaction first. But if it's under 1,000, like I just like it's like two.
Yeah, I'll always send a test transaction to a new wallet, and then once I know,
the more sketchy.
Good,
the more sketchy the situation, the more it's. But if it's like something I'm familiar with, and it's a small amount, if it's like I said, $1,000 is my cutoff. If it's over 1,000, I'm sending a test transaction. If it's like under $500, like a couple $100 or less, like I'm just like whatever. And it's taken me time to build up to that. Like I used to do test transactions for $20. like, but you'll get more comfortable with it. And honestly, like another benefit of self custody is you're actually using the blockchain,
Yep.
and it gives you a feel for it, right? And it gives you access to more coins than what's on the exchange. Like you want to get into shit coins and meme coins, you want to get in early to stuff. If you're buying coins on Coinbase or Binance or anywhere else,
That's
any other
not early.
exchange, you're not early. You're all the way late. That's the last. In fact, the last place is ETFs. You can't be any more late than the ETF, right? Like if you're waiting for the ETF, like dude, literally everybody is already front ran you. And if you're waiting for the exchange listing, everybody else is front ran you. Like you like if you want to be early, you got to go on chain. And this is the start. Like you can't. This is the start of the start. The
Yep.
start of the start. Make a wallet. Write down the private key. Send some coins there from your exchange, and sit with that. Right. Like this is just getting your feet wet.
Yep.
Like
And I would say that you don't have to be like we're taught. We named the video, self custody versus non custodial. But the reality of it is that it's a sliding scale. It's not a switch, right? So you can you can have varying degrees of self custody and like for example, the reason you wouldn't want to do self custody is because you don't trust yourself to be able to keep a hold of all the things that you need to do to not lose your stuff. Like,
yes. No.
I don't trust that I'll be able to remember this password, or I'll lose the notebook that I write down the password or the seed phrase in, or I'm afraid that, I'm there, I live in a wildfire zone. I'm afraid my house will burn down while I'm at work, and I don't want to lose it that way. There's whatever the case may be. You may have some reasons why you don't want to completely self custody all of it yourself. So there are other ways that you can go about doing it, and we'll not, get into them too in depth here,
Well,
but
we can talk about some of them right now. No, I think that's a great point.
we can, yeah,
Uh,
mention them.
yeah, self custody is not for everybody. It is a switch on whether or not it's self custody. Definitely not your keys, not your coins. Like that seed phrase, that private key, that determines whether or not you're self custody, and that is
So
definite.
I guess that's a fair point, and I'll explain what I mean.
No,
Um,
you.
let me let me
What?
let me explain what I mean when I say
Go
that
ahead. Go ahead.
it's not a switch, because it's not a switch. It is a sliding scale. But what you're saying is also correct in that if you don't maintain control of the keys, then you don't control the crypto. But you can give a portion of your seed phrase to a friend or family member for them to hold on to, or a whole copy of it. Or there's different types of wallets where you can have to have multiple people sign in order to get access, right? So
Multi.
so what I mean by that is that's not you're not fully self-custodying then, right? But you have alleviated some of the risks associated with other people at the same time. So, I mean, there's like I said, there are options and things that you can do. Again, we don't need to get into them in depth
No,
here.
you're percent right. Yeah, there's multi sig options. Definitely. Yeah, and um,
You can
yeah,
just give your crypto to the ETFs, right? If you have Bitcoin and you're like, oh, I don't know if I want, you can actually like go to the ETF provider and be like, here, I want to give you my Bitcoin. You give me the credit for that Bitcoin in your
yep,
ETF.
yep.
And then you're, and it's like, well, why would I want to do that? Well, because their security is probably a lot better than yours.
Probably.
I mean, that's why people like, and it's like it's different for everybody too. Like to some people, to be like, oh, I've got $100,000 worth of crypto, and so that to some people that's like an immense amount of money, and to other people that's nothing.
Right,
And so it's all about what's personal to you. What's a lot of money to you, right? Like at a certain point, like if you're only going to have $100 in a wallet, like yeah, I wouldn't worry about BlackRock being my security provider either. But if we are talking about, hundreds of thousands, well, now I'm like, well, I don't know if I want to be the only one that is
right.
responsible for making sure that I don't screw this up. So it's different for everybody, right? Like you can
Yeah,
do what
and it could go the other way too. Like you could have $100 million of Bitcoin, and you'd be like, I don't trust BlackRock with my hundred. What if BlackRock rug pulls me for 100
exactly.
million?
Good point.
And then you'd be like, no, I'm self custodying this shit. It's too much money to trust even BlackRock with it. So yeah, you go both ways, or you can have $100 and be like, be like, oh, I don't even want to bother with the seed phrase. Like I'll just let black. It's
Yeah,
$100. Who
I'll just keep that on the exchange, whatever.
Sure. Or it could be, oh, $100. I'll practice self custody with my $100, but then my 100,000, my life savings, I don't trust myself with my 100,000. I'll let BlackRock hold my 100,000, but I'll mess around on the with the I'll mess around on the decentralized exchange buying
Right.
meme coins for
Yeah.
$100. I'll self custody that.
Yeah. I guess the important thing is to know thyself and have a plan.
Yeah, and no shame either way. It's just it's important to understand what the differences are, and I
And
want
the
to get
risks, right? The risks
yeah
associated with them, because that's really what it comes down to is where's the most risk to your capital.
yeah, and there's pros and cons and risks to both ways. So with self custody, the pros are nobody can ever take your coins from you.
Unless they scam
But the
you
cons
or rent
scam
attack
you
you.
to click on a malicious link, or you put your private keys on the cloud, or you lose your private keys. So yeah, the cons are kind of the same thing. Is yeah, it's yours until it's not. Uh, but but the government can't take it from you if it's self custodied, right? I mean, I guess it's just like self custody gold, right? Like someone could always put a gun to your head, right? That's a risk. The wrench attack, that is a risk of self custody. Um, but then if your private keys are not accessible by even yourself, either with a multi sig or different location of the private key, like that can be helpful. Or you could even memorize, like, another, if you really want to be hardcore about it, you memorize it. You don't even write it down on a piece of paper, you just memorize it. But what if you get in a car accident, get a traumatic brain injury, right? And you don't remember so it's crazy, right? So those are the some pros and cons self custody. Now non or self custody, uh, a custodial is where you have a BlackRock ETF, or you have it on your Binance or Coinbase account exchange, Robinhood exchange, or Kraken exchange, um, or you put it in some kind of custodian like Celsius, right? So here's some pros and cons of custodians. Is they can be scammers like Celsius, right? Because Celsius was like, oh yeah, just give us your Bitcoin, and we'll hold it for you, and you can earn a yield on it. You're like, oh sweet, I can earn whatever 4% yield on my Bitcoin. Well, then it turns out that it's a Ponzi scheme, and they don't have your Bitcoin anymore, and your Bitcoin's gone, right? So that's not a good thing. Or you have your coins on Mount Gox or FTX exchange or Quadriga exchange, all these exchanges where either the exchange gets hacked in the case of Mount Gox, or the exchange was a scam like Quadriga or FTX, where they have your Bitcoin, not you. They're the ones with the private keys. So in the case of FTX, they got high on meth and day traded and lost. That's They were like, oh, we're holding $9 billion of other people's crypto. I know. Let's day trade with it. And they lost. They were bad at day trading. And they were, snorting Adderall the whole time, and didn't work out. But so those are the downsides to, trusting. But if you got like certain, not every custodian is created equal. Like Coinbase and BlackRock and Fidelity, are and Kraken and Robinhood, or those are all probably pretty safe custodians, right?
Yeah, and
Those
you
are
say
all
that with a little bit, tongue in cheek, I guess, because you can never be sure. But those are some of the bigger hitters, like,
right.
companies
Yeah.
like BlackRock and Fidelity have been around for forever.
Well, and those are American companies,
Right.
and those are almost all those companies are traded on the stock exchange. Kraken is not, but Kraken is in Wyoming. I think they're licensed in the state of Wyoming. They're located. I think they might even have a physical office in Wyoming. I'm not sure, but like the
There's
people in
consumer
charge
protection.
are Americans, right? The people in charge are Americans. That Jesse Pollock or whatever his name is.
Hmm.
I think that's the. I might be thinking of someone who's building on base, but anyway, um, yeah, that's not the right name, but those companies, you can safely store $100,000. Those guys, they have 100 million or $100 billion. Like BlackRock has $9 trillion of assets under management.
Yeah, they don't
Like,
they don't care about your 100 grand.
yeah, they're not going to rip you off your life savings because they're making fees on $9 trillion
And their
dollars.
and their reputation is worth more to them than your 100 grand.
Exactly. They make 100 grand in fees like every 2 seconds.
Yeah.
They're not going to risk that just to steal your 100 grand from you once.
Right. They'll lose everybody
So
else's 100 grands if they take yours.
exactly. So those custodians can be considered more safe. But what if uh, Uncle Sam wants your money, right? Like, what if you get divorced and your wife wants half? Well, I mean,
Which
even if
will
you have it
probably be the case.
yeah, even if you have it self custody, that she'll probably still. I mean, she can be like, he's got Bitcoin somewhere, and they'll track it down. And that's the thing.
Maybe.
Bitcoin's trackable, right?
Yes.
Well, she'd be
Well,
like, oh,
yes.
he's got a Coinbase account. Well, they can audit your Coinbase account. They can see the wallet you sent it to, that the Bitcoin's still there, or that you sent it to another wallet from that wallet. They can see all of that on chain, right?
They
So the
they
wife is still
they
getting hacked,
they can. The question is whether or not anybody's going through that effort.
but they can't pry it out of you unless you willingly send it. They can be like, you need to give her half your Bitcoin or you're going to jail. And then you'd be like, fine, fuck it. And then you send it, right? But that's the only way they're getting it. That's the only, if you have it self custodied, like you can have one Bitcoin self custody, and the court could be like, you got divorced, your Bitcoin gets your wife gets point 0.5 Bitcoin, and you're like, no, and they're like, well, point 0.5 Bitcoin, and you go to jail for 6 months, and you'd be like, oh shit, and then you're still trying to decide, and they're like, no, 6 years. You're like, okay.
Yeah, I would pay 50 grand and not do 6 years.
Right. It depends on the person, right? But
Yeah.
and it's just I was trying to be funny, but the only way they're getting that is if you send it to her wallet.
Yeah, you have to be compelled to do it. You
But
can't
but
be.
if it was on Coinbase, then the judge could tell Coinbase, hey, you got Joe Blow's Bitcoin on your exchange.
Send it to us.
Well,
Yeah.
here's a court order. Here's a subpoena. Here's a court order. You got to send half that Bitcoin to this address here, and Coinbase could send it.
Yep.
Because they're court ordered to send it.
Because it's their crypto.
Because it's their crypto, exactly. Because they control it. Coinbase controls it.
Yeah, they have the private
If it's on
keys.
Coinbase,
Yeah, if
exactly.
Coinbase has the money, they have it in their private
Yes,
wallet.
and that's a good thing, right? Because there's exchanges that don't have it.
That's again outside of the scope of this video.
Well, right. Well, like Femex, the most recent example, Femex is just this offshore exchange. I think they're in Singapore or something. I don't even know what country they're in. And FTX, as an example, FTX was in the Bahamas. They were not in the United States. They were an offshore exchange as well. And crypto.com is a real famous one. Everyone's like, oh, crypto.com. They advertised in the Super Bowl. They had a stadium advertisement. It's crypto.com. Well, guess what? They're in Singapore or some other shit country too. That's not the United States. And if you're dealing with an offshore exchange, dude, anything goes.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, like, Binance is an offshore exchange, but they're pretty legit. And the reason you can know they're legit is because people know what their wallets are. So you can see that Binance holds, 32 million Bitcoin, or no, there only is 21 million Bitcoin, 32,000 Bitcoin, making up numbers, right?
Right.
But they hold a bunch of Bitcoin in a wallet that's theirs, and you can see it on chain.
Mm-hmm.
When you see that, you're like, oh, okay, we can verify they actually have people's crypto. That's good. That's a good thing.
It's provable.
Yeah, you can prove it in
You don't have to
Coinbase
trust
too.
them.
Right. Binance and Coinbase and Robinhood. In fact, the funny thing was with Dogecoin, people were like, how decentralized is Dogecoin? And you're like who, how decentralized are the tokens themselves? And they're like, oh, there's this one mystery wallet that holds like 35% of all Dogecoin. I can't remember what the percentage was. It was like 25% or 35% or 50%. A really large chunk of all of Dogecoin was in one wallet. I don't remember the exact percentage, but it was a really large percentage. And everyone was freaking out, like, "Oh, you can't trust Dogecoin. Like, who, some whale could just dump on you at any moment." Well, after like 6 months, people figured out that it was Robinhood's wallet. Like, everybody was freaking out for months about who's the secret whale who has all this Dogecoin. It was fucking Robinhood. It was everybody's because all the retail people are not using Trust Wallet. They're just holding their Doge on
Right.
Robinhood Exchange, which is fine. But
But
like,
then it's all in one big wallet.
yeah, it was like a huge percentage and it probably is still there. I don't even know. It's something you can Google,
Yeah.
but
Well, we'll save that for another time because I gotta wrap this one up. We've been on for about an hour, so it's a good time to
oh,
do
okay.
so. But yeah, any final thoughts on custody versus
Not your
non-custody?
keys, not your coins, bro. Like if you want it to be safe, you got to put in the work. And that was only 5 minutes of our video, right? It's really only 5 minutes worth of work.
Yeah, it's not very difficult.
And if you really want to be safe, you do that. And if you want to be pretty safe, just you can leave it with Coinbase. You can leave it with the ETF. You can leave it with Robinhood. You can the safe exchanges. Like you can leave it on a safe exchange. You'll be fine. Um, like that's fine. Like
I will say this. This is my final thought, and that is that I got into crypto, Bitcoin specifically, because I realized that I think that there's a giant problem with our entire financial system, and Bitcoin is the way out of it. So that's my thesis, right? Is that Bitcoin is the solution to the problem of our financial system collapsing eventually. And the reason why Bitcoin is that solution is because it is money that can be sovereign and it can be uh, uh, like there's a fixed number of them. You can't produce any more. So that means it's going to maintain its value. And so if those things are true, and I trust some other entity to maintain control of my money for me, then the same thing is possible that happened with our financial system. And so it's because of that I think that I think it's better to keep the crypto yourself rather than relying on someone else to do so for you.
yeah,
So yeah, hey, we'll go ahead and call it there. Thanks everybody for tuning in. If you like the video, consider liking or sorry, consider subscribing as well and pinging the notification bell so that you can catch the next one when we go live. So thanks so much.